Alright. Yeah, let me make sure audio's good. Yeah, seems to be good, the audio. Yeah, so we have to write more of the Lexer today. I mean, hopefully we can finish the Lexer. I mean, just the basic implementation of the Lexer today. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, let me just get a couple more things, just make sure everything's set up properly, and then we'll start in a second. Okay, so yeah, I kind of want to, yeah, I think we can start. Kind of want to make a little bit of an agenda for today, just to make sure I cover everything. So let's see what I can probably get done today. So we want to finish numbers. So I'm just gonna call it Lexing numbers, Lexing identifiers and keywords. What else? I need to fix that error bug thing. Error handling issue. I need to cover that. What else? Well, I need a way to actually test all this, so I need to set up test. Or I think I have a function, I'm just gonna call it. Set up the run function, yeah. Set up run function. So that should be good. What else? Anything else we... Oh yeah, I guess kind of like just narrowing out our enums. I guess that'll be first. Just to kind of figure out if these are all the enums that we want to implement, I guess, to say. I guess that's probably what we do. I mean, I guess, yeah, there's a couple more enums we can add. Since we're handling conditional statements, right? We do want to have some of our double characters, like, I mean, I guess they are double characters, like, and, or, those are like the only two I can think of for those, and or. We already have like every other one, like not equal to, equal, everything like that. So yeah, I think we can just add that in. Just two more cases. I forgot that those are things, so yeah, let's just add those in. Let's do it here. These are for the one cases, so it should match. There's no way to really mess up for those. I mean, okay. The thing is, you can have bitwise operations. So do I really want to handle bitwise operations right now, though? Because we can have... I don't know how to draw the ampersand one. Whatever, yeah, like, whatever that is. Hold up, I need to get yellow color. This thing. Okay, I actually drew it right. This one, if the next token is another ampersand, that's gonna be the logical, not the logical, the conditional operation. But if it's just, if the next character is some random character, like an identifier or something, then it's going to be the logical operation for the bitwise operation. So if we're going to implement AND, we need to implement bitwise, I believe. But I don't know if I want to do it right now, at least. We can leave it for now. I guess we can leave it for now. If I was making a compiler for like a more simpler language, like a language that uses, I mean, I guess I can, to be honest. This is my own thing. So I can totally just write and make that the logical, make that the operation. Do I just like do that and then call this like a different language, like C- or something? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think we'll just leave that for now. Okay, let's try and get our number function though. So as we know, last time we did strings. So this is how the string logic will work. We did that last time. So if the case hits a double quotation in our code, we run through it, the string function. And within the string function, as long as you're not hitting the next double quote to end the string, and if you're not at the end of the function, end of the file, not the function, as long as you're not at the end of the file and that you haven't hit the double quote, you will keep advancing character by character to encompass the string. And then this is like a little error handling thing right here, because if they end the string without closing the quote, then it will be an unterminated string. And then you advance over to the double quote here. And then we return the string, add the token into the file, into the vector. So essentially the same thing with numbers we have to do today. So numbers are a bit, not really that different. So we need to find a way to actually identify that it's a number. So the easiest way I can probably show this is like, let's say we're going through a code file or something, we hit a random number like 1. We shouldn't make it a string, we shouldn't make it any other thing, it should identify that it's a literal, integer literal. And then doubles are a bit different. Doubles, we have to add an extra step of verification. We need to check if the dot after the dot is an actual number value, because after dot could very much be a function call, so we had to distinguish that too. Okay, so we need a way to distinguish that it's a number or not. Alphanumeric, what is... Alphanumeric is like 0, 9, A through F, I think, right? Or no. Let me check again. Both letters and numbers, alphanumeric symbols meet. Okay, how can you check only a number? I think I did this before though. I'm just not remembering. How can we check that something is a digit in code? Oh, is that like an actual function? Do you just have a straight up function like that? Is digit in C++? In C. Is it in C++ though? It should be, right? So yeah, I mean, looks like it is. So essentially we're taking a char value let me just give it a try actually. Inside an online compiler. So is that what we need? bit/didc h. Let me check. I may or may not use this because I know there's a way to actually write it by yourself. So let's say char c is equal to 5, right? Now I'm just gonna copy this. I just want to make sure this works. If we run this, C is not a digit. Why does that not work? Get rid of that. Okay, I'm just gonna implement it by myself. There is a way we can implement it by just checking if the char is between this or not. I actually did this within the emulator itself. It was for a different case, but it still applies. It was to check zeros and ones, but it should apply for any value. So let me grab an ASCII char. I believe 0 was like 48 or something like that. Yeah, 0 is 48. So yeah, values from 48 to 57. So essentially we just need like a helper function to check that. So I'm just gonna add like a function here. So let's just call it like stack. Let's call it like digit. Taking char c. Yeah, so essentially we're checking for the digit now. So if our value, what we have to basically do is subtract from that value. So if we subtract the ASCII of 5 here, subtract that by this value here, we should get the value, the proper value in digit form. Yo, what's up, Exo? How you doing, bro? So I guess, well, no, that's to convert it to an integer, so I don't want to do that. So I probably want to check if c is greater than or equal to I guess just 0, right? Is greater than or equal to 0. So these will be converted to just 8-bit integers, I guess. So that, or well, no, it's not gonna be equal. We want and if c is less than our 58 value, which will be semicolon, I believe. No, just regular colon. So that's what I think we need. So return true. If not, then return false. It's So that should, in theory, work if I'm thinking of it right? So, it should work because these are just integer values under the hood, right? So as long as our value is greater than or equal to 0, so if we're taking 0 to 9, right? So as long as this condition satisfies, I think. I hope that's right. Okay, so now we need to actually implement the number part. Okay, let's think. So it should follow the same like paradigms that we had kind of for strings and every other thing that we did. So if we have some random code file, like, I don't know, just any random code file, and we hit that integer value, we need to advance until we hit something different, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna probably like write out a random code snippet and kind of think through it for a second. So let's write out a random code snippet here. Let's say like anything. Let's just some random nonsense. Should string is equal to random string, right? Semicolon. Int x is equal to 334, right? Out x something, anything, right? So gets the keyword type thing, and then the identifier equals, and then this is where the string function would be called to parse the string, ending the string, semicolon punctuation thing, enumeration, keyword identifier equal to, then hits the number, right? So it's the number, and we move forward, checking the next number, checking it, and then okay, so we're just kind of peeking to the next number, right? We're peeking to the next number. If the next number is a digit, we are continuing the loop. So this could be like any amount of numbers. So this could be a huge number like this. As long as it's a digit in the next slot, we are going forward. So, yeah, let's try and do that. So, while okay, I need to think, because I'm thinking about decimals now. Decimals are gonna be a bit different, because decimals, we need to check that. So, yeah, I guess we can keep it all in the while loop, right? We can keep it all in the while loop. It's just how they're handled differently, right? How should I do this? Let's just write. We'll figure it out as we go. So while C is not C, sorry. While peak. So we're calling peak. While peak is not equal to yeah, while peak is not equal to, well, it would be is peak, while peak is equal to is digit. As long as it is a digit, and now we're not at the end of the file. So, not is at end. And then, well, I guess, what would the char be? I mean, I guess we'd put it inside, right? But we don't have a char C, so what exactly are we putting in charts? I guess, this is interesting. It's quite interesting. I guess we have to call it, right? We have to call it in here. I'm kind of confused on this, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, what's up, Ram? How long have I been programming in C++? Just a couple months. I think I started in March, sometime in March. Okay, I'm overcomplicating it. I'm just not seeing it for a second. Okay, let me kind of walk through. Let me go back to see the peak function, right? So peak, we're just returning the source current value. Just returning the source current value, so programmer compiler with only 3 months experience. I mean, I guess you could say I've programmed Python for like a year-ish. Beforehand, so like I understand how programs work and everything. And this is part of the second part of the project. The first part of the project was a CPU emulator, coding that, and we're gonna run the compiler to go through that. So it's gonna compile C code, like a subset of C code, and run that through the CPU, the virtual CPU that I run. We're just going through it, you know, we're reading and we're trying to implement what we can. Okay, okay, this one's kind of difficult. I don't know why I'm confused about this. Peak will generate the next one, right? So Yo, what's up, Maddox? How you doing, bro? Peak should generate the next value, right? So let me kind of map it out. Let me map it out real quick. So we're calling peak, right? It's gonna return us the next value. So let's say we're in here, we get to 3, right? And then we go to the next 3. So it's gonna show us the value of 3, right? I'm kind of confused about this. Because it should be, well, peak is equal to is digit. We're checking if it's a digit or not, but what exactly should be the parameter here, I guess? I mean, I guess we should call is digit here itself and call the peak function for that. Yeah, because peak does return the char, so I guess when we call is digit here, the peak will give us, we'll call this function here and return true or false, depending on that. And then we can check, I guess I'll call this bool number and say is digit peak. So then we can actually check. I'm probably overcomplicating this, to be honest, but I think this is what it will do. New nav dev, I have some big news as of for lore update. There'll be XLOR website soon. It will be released in a couple days, and it'll only be for XLOR. Nice. Send me the website when that's done. I'd like to take a look. Okay, yeah. So is digits should call peak. So that will bring us back the digit whether it's true or false. Then we run that through here. While peak. So as long as peak is a number, and we're not at the end of the file, we should continue on. We'll be advancing forward, advancing through the file. And we need to cover the edge case for, well, for the edge case of decimals, right? Decimals, as soon as we hit like, I'm just gonna add another example. So if we have float f is equal to 4.5, once it hits this first number, it's gonna hit a decimal. It's gonna exit out the loop since the peak isn't a digit anymore. So I guess decimals need to be carried in a separate loop. Okay, let me think for a second. Decimals are gonna need to be handled a bit differently. So I guess for the decimals, we're gonna advance forward to consume the decimal token, and then we want to check if that next digit ahead is a number or if it's a function call or anything like that, to distinguish between the two. Let me think about how to actually put that in here though. That would be a bit difficult because it's gonna exit out the loop by then, so sure, XL, I can look at it live. It kind of deviates away from my content, but I'll look at it live if you want me to. I'll see. As long as it's not too long, because I need to keep programming. But yeah, if you have the website, I'll take a look and whatever. However long it takes, I'll do that. Okay, yeah, so or actually, wait, we can probably simplify this. Why don't we just, I was probably overthinking it because peak gives us a value. Why don't we just call peak? Okay, yeah, I knew I was overcomplicating it. Yeah, we don't need a separate variable. We can just call wild digit peak. We can just say that. We still want to advance here. But I guess, okay, so we need to check if that value is a dot or not. So we want to check if peak, if it's a dot value, we want to check that. Okay, so we want to check if it's dot. Any other cases we need to check. I believe that should be the only case for it to actually Well, no, I believe I wrote in my notes somewhere. Yeah, we need to look 2 places ahead because we need to know if it's a dot, and also we need to check the character after the dot to check if it's a number or if it's starting a function call or something to distinguish. So we need to check that and if peak next, if that function returns a number. So just same as before, just is digit, and then call it inside of the peak next function though. Yeah. Okay, it took us a while, but we got there. This should, in theory, work. Let's say we're at the iteration for 3. We're checking the peak for this one. Well, I'm gonna do for this one, and then it also checks 3. So it checks both those conditions at the same time. If that's the case, then we need another while loop because we don't want to exit out this. As soon as we exit out this, it's gonna hit the dot, and then we're gonna exit out this while loop. So we need another while loop in here to handle all the decimal stuff. I think it's gonna be a nested while, but I think there's no other choice. We have no other choice but to do a nested while here. Yo, what's up, ML? Hey, what's up, Jennifer? What is the problem that I'm solving? I'm just trying to kind of like Lex through a number. So let's say like this is our code that we have. The Lexer needs to know when it's an integer number. Yesterday we did strings. Strings was pretty simple. Numbers is also simple. I'm just trying to reason through it. So when it hits a number value, it needs to check if the next one's a digit and check each following character to see if it's a digit or not. So we can actually make that into the integer literal that we have. And decimals are like a more, floats are a more advanced case because it needs to check on the numbers, right? And then also check if it's a decimal and check the number after it, because there is an edge case where after a decimal you could have a call to a member function. So we need to either distinguish between a float or the member function. So we need to actually check that properly. I was just trying to reason it out and see what I could think of. That's why it's taking a bit. But yeah, so I guess we need to have another while in here. Yeah, decimals are doubles in CPP by default. But this is for Lexing like a new programming language. This is like if you have nothing built up yet. This is Lexing a new programming language. I'm taking a subset of C. I'm probably not going to implement doubles. I'm probably sticking to float for mine. I could implement doubles later, but that's a different story. So right now I have to handle floats separately. Okay, let's do this part. So while it's the same thing. If it's a digit, and yeah, if it's a digit and the next value is a digit. If that's the case, alright, and also I have to make sure it's not at the end either. Yeah, so if this, what happened? Oh, yeah. Alright, there we go. Alright, did I make sure all the things are put correctly? So is digit peak, and it's not, okay, yeah, that's good. So we advance. We just keep going until we hit the end there. So that should cover floats and integers. So the outer part is for just any integer literals, it will only get into this scope if we are having a decimal value. So I think that should cover it. Let me just go through this again and see if it's a decimal and the next digit is a digit, we then enter this loop, and then as long as it's a digit, we continue on. Yeah, I think that's fine. So after that, we should exit out this loop. Yeah. We need to set the value now, so kind of just like up here. So this is gonna be an integer literal. Or just like any literal, I guess. So let's call it just a string and call it like number literal, right? And we need to actually set that in tokens, so we need to take a substring of the source. It should be the same exact logic, I believe, as the one up here, so I think we can just copy that logic over. Let me think about it for a second though. Should it be the same logic? So if we have a number like 1, 1, 0, 1, 2 or something, like just some number, random number I just wrote. So our start position is starting here, and our current, when we reach the end, our current will be 1 ahead of that, so it'll be whatever is after. So our start position is just going to be current, or not current, start. It's going to be start, not start plus 1. For strings, it's start plus 1 because we don't count the double quote. So it's going to be start. It's just going to be start. And I guess current minus start. Yeah, current minus start would actually get us our value to take in this whole substring here. Not current minus start minus 2. Let's say like this is like any random number in the file. Let's say like this is like 11, this is the 12th character, 13th, 14th, 15th, and then we're on the 16th character. So if you do 16 minus the starting character, so current minus start, that'll give us 5, which is the length of the substring. So that should work. Yeah, I think I got that part now. So that should be our literal value. And yeah, we just add token, just as we usually do. I do need to see though. Yeah, the parameters are token type. We'll call this integer, or what did I put it as in the enum? Number. I just put it as number. So if that's the case, it's a number. And I mean, I guess, yeah, that's good. Number literal. And we do want to implement that in the scan token here. So going through, I guess, we we need to check. So if it's a digit, yeah, so our chart here, if it's a digit, then we'll call the number function. Yeah, so then this function will be called as soon as we hit the first number. This function will be called, and then we'll keep going until we hit the end of the numbers and pass that in as our token. So that should work. Yeah, okay, I think we're done with number. That's one function checked out for today. We need to do identifiers and keywords now. Yeah, let's try and do that. Let's think of what comprises an identifier or a keyword. All right. So I guess our main keywords are like the data types. Any keywords like this, if, else, while, or for. And identifiers are just like the value. So if we have like int x equals 3, integer is our keyword, int is our keyword, x is our identifier. So identifiers will just take any like value that we have. Okay, how would the compiler know though? That is, I mean, I guess that it won't think it's a string, because the only way a string would start is if it hits the double quote, as we have in our case here. So it won't mistake it for a string at all, so we don't need to worry about that. I mean, I guess we have to just check if it's a letter, because identifiers can start with A through Z, capital A through Z, or it can start with an underscore. Anything else is illegal, so we need to check. I think is alpha, I think. Yeah. So we just need to check if the char is alpha or also allowing the underscore. Underscore isn't covered in is alpha, so we need to check that separately as well. Okay. Okay. I think I understand how we might start this. Let's just try. Let's do literals first. Not literals, sorry. Identifiers first. So I guess similar to how we had a function for digit, we need to also check if it's alpha character. So I'm gonna call it like static bool is alpha char C. Let's check ASCII table for that. I mean, no, I guess, which comes first? Is it the uppercase or lowercase? So the lowest ASCII value is uppercase A, and okay, the highest value would be uppercase Z, which is 122. Okay, so we need to check. So based on our char value, we need to check if our char value is greater than or equal to uppercase A, and make sure that our C value is less than, make sure that it's less than lowercase c. I believe that should be valid, because uppercase A is the lower end of the range, and then lowercase z is the upper end. Right, yeah. But not only that though, not only that. This, or if it's this underscore. Yeah. Not just underscore by itself, if C is equal to underscore. I'll properly do this, so I don't want any precedence issues, so I'm just gonna have proper parentheses over everything. Okay. Yeah. This should encompass the function perfectly, the helper function that we need. So if it's like that, then we return true, or else we just return false. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, let's think. Right, so it's probably gonna follow the same pattern that we had in our integers. So when we hit our alpha character C, so I'm gonna actually implement that in here. So if else if is alpha C. So if our character is a C, not a C, if our character is a if our characters for that function, alpha character, A through Z, and also underscore, if that's the case, then we're going to be calling the identifier function. So this is how we start. This is how we start to kind of make it an identifier, to let the Lexer know that we're starting an identifier. So, yeah, I guess we kind of just need to start similarly. So while is alpha is, as we keep moving forward, yeah, so let's say we have the identifier, the starting position is here. We'll check if the next character is that and keep going on. I think we understand the loop at this point. We don't need to keep explaining it. Yeah, but while that's the case, and we haven't hit the end of the file. So, yeah, it should be here. While we're not at the end of the file. Actually, wait, does it really matter? Does it really matter if it's the end of the file or not? For the case of strings, it matters that we're not at the end of the file because we'll have an unterminated string if we hit the end of the file. But I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter for this case, right? It shouldn't matter for numbers. I mean, is it a problem to keep it in though? I don't see a problem with keeping it in. It's an extra safety check, I guess. Okay, let's just go with it. That's kind of a really trivial thing that we'll fix later if it's a problem. I don't think it should be a problem, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll figure it out though as we go. So if we're checking the next character, and as long as we're not at the end, then we advance forward. I hope the audio in the stream is fine. Let me drink some water real quick. Alright. Okay, so we're advancing. And what are some edge cases? Audio's all good? Alright, I appreciate it, Jennifer. Okay, what are some edge cases? I mean, I guess nothing really, right? Oh, wait. That's a problem. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that correctly. This is only applicable for the first digit. After that, we can have any value. So we can have like an identifier like ID 3 something. It's perfectly legal to have that. I believe in my notes I had it right here. So this is how it's implemented. A through Z, like capital and lower, and also the underscore. And then every subsequent character after that allows you to have 0 to 9. So I guess, okay, we need to have a separate function. We need to have another function here. And call that is alpha numeric, and say char C. So we're checking that. And we need to do the check. So essentially this just, I mean, I guess we have that function anyway. So we can do is alpha for that char C and then check that. What app is that? That's Obsidian. I take all my notes on here, and also they're all on GitHub too. All my Obsidian notes are on GitHub, so I can back it up properly. Because I'm pretty sure the Obsidian, the normal backing up in Obsidian is really terrible or something, so you can, there's like a plugin for Obsidian, you can look it up on YouTube, you can actually push your Obsidian files to GitHub and actually access them from anywhere. It's pretty convenient. Yeah, so I guess we can call if, oh my god, if is alpha C or numbers. I'm just gonna take it from here. This is the one for numbers. Yeah, I think Obsidian is pretty useful to use. It's better than any other note-taking app out there, to be honest. Yeah, so this is for the further checks. Okay. Well, I guess, okay, for the first character, it matters, right? So we already covered that in here. We're checking here. If is alpha C, we're calling identifier. But for these further checks, it should just be for alphanumeric. That's a good thing I caught that, or else that would have been bad. Because we need to allow people to have numbers in the identifier later on. Not that I've ever really seen people use numbers in identifiers, but to each their own, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. Hey, what's up, Jokers? How you doing, bro? Welcome back to the stream. Actually, I low-key kind of lied, not gonna lie. I do use numbers and identifiers in my interpreter. I'm pretty sure I use a number somewhere. Maybe it's in here. Or maybe it's in my decoder. Yeah, but that's just for like these stuff, func3, yeah. So people do use numbers, yeah. Never mind. Forget what I said about that. I also use numbers sometimes. I'm doing good, Joker. Just trying to figure this out. It's taking more thinking than I thought it would, to be honest. But I guess it's to be expected since it's a compiler. Okay, so so after it hits the first letter, advancing to the second letter, which allows any other type of letter. You sent me a request in LinkedIn. Yeah, I'll accept that. I'll accept that soon. Probably after the stream, I'll accept that. And if you guys want, you can check out my GitHub project for this as well. If you want to star that, that'd be appreciated. Okay, let's focus again here. So, I mean, there's no edge cases really other than that. I mean, I guess it really just is that. Okay, so how do we now distinguish between identifiers and keywords? That's the difference. Because let's go back in here, right? We don't want someone to write int equals 3. We don't want someone to have the identifier named as int. So, I mean, I guess we have to store these in somewhere else. I guess. Wait, how do we check that really? How do we check that? So our normal loop would say this is fine, but we need to have a hard counter to that and say, wait, you have a keyword here, we can't have that as our identifier, you need to change that. So how would we get that? Oops, semicolon. Let me think about it for a bit. If we can't figure out the solution, I might ask good old friend AI. We haven't actually used AI in this project, like almost at all. I think I used it for one little simple check to check my main. I used AI to check my main .cpp, but other than that, we haven't done it for the Lexer at all. How about limiting the line to contain only one identifier? Limiting the line to only contain one identifier. What do you mean by that? Like, the problem I have right now is not for the amount of identifiers, I guess. Right? It's that we can't have int as an identifier. You can't call int, or you can't say like float int equals 3. We can't say that. That's, the compiler's gonna generate errors all around the board for that, so. Maybe you're making a good point, I just can't understand what you're saying right now. Maybe if you can rephrase or... I guess, okay, so we'd have like an if statement here, so like, I'm just gonna kind of map it out. So like if identifier, or no, okay, if keyword, then this happens. Okay, I'm just gonna have like a couple of lines. So if, I'm just kind of gonna map it out here. So if we have keyword, so if keyword, right, then we're gonna have our token type. Oh my god, I can't type. Our token type be that of the certain keyword that we have. I really can't type, but yeah, whatever keyword we have. Else, we'll have token type be our essentially our value for identifier. Yeah, that's what I want to say, identifier. So it'd be something like this. We'd have to have something like this once we get there, but we need to actually find a way to actually distinguish between keyword and identifier, because right now they're the same. They're going to be seen the same in our code. So what could we possibly do? Like, do we set up another enum, or... I think I'm gonna have to throw in the towel here. I think I'm gonna have to throw in the towel here. I think I'm gonna have to ask Claude how they usually do it. How does handle the difference between keywords and identifiers? Tell me the concept. Don't give me code, please. So how do they do it? Keyword lookup table. Okay. I probably should have thought of that, but yeah, okay. Std unordered map. So std unordered map taking in the values. Okay. The order of your logic also matters. You always check the keyword table first. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Checking the keyword first. Yeah. Okay. Let's implement the... I totally forgot we could even do that. Okay, yeah, let's do std unordered map. So storing all our keywords into that map. So let's probably put that here. Let's call it like std stood on ordered map. We need to put that at the top. I think it's just include unordered map, I think. Yeah, it's just stood up, include unordered map, and then we can actually use it. Stood on the map. It's time, Exa. It's time. Stood on the map. Okay, so what do we need to pass in? I guess we're just passing in the string. And also the token itself. Right, because this is going to be the actual value and then the token type of it, which will be one of the keywords. And let's just call it keywords. And I think I'm actually going to make this a member of the class since it's directly used in this class. I'm just going to make it a member of this class, a public member here. I'm just going to call it like this. So then we need to do this. I believe, am I doing something wrong? Wait, how do we actually get that? I'm thinking of the syntax right now. I totally forgot. We're gonna ask Cloud about the syntax real quick. That's a common thing that happens, forgetting about syntax. This is in the CPP file. I want to make it a member of the scanner class in our header file. I am forgetting the syntax, so it isn't working to declare properly. Okay, I just totally forgot the syntax. Let's see. So remember the header. Okay, static const, and then just keywords. And it's still not like. Static const, sit on our maps, string, token type, keywords. It's already correct, so why is it saying it's wrong? That fixes that issue, but okay. Dude, I'm definitely being I'm being dumb right now. I don't know what's going on. Scanner keywords. We have the scope identifier, right, and the namespace. I mean, let's... let's just try and see if if we implement something, does that key goes to the value of the identifier if... Oh my god, dude, what am I doing? Alright, token type if. Technical difficulties here. Stream was running smooth up until syntax issues. Yeah, it's not working. So I think this class scanner has no memory keywords, but I put it in there. Oh, is it because static? Oh. No, it still doesn't fix it though. Alright, yeah, we're hopefully this... Okay, Lexer.cpp. Right, and then here, what is going on, dude? Lexer.page. The error is that... Yeah, I looked at the error message, I just don't understand it. It says class scanner has no member keywords, but we put it in our class. So either I'm being dumb here or something's going wrong, and I don't know. Static. It's not the static, I had that beforehand too. I had that off. I wrote it right? Keywords. Token type, std owner maps to string, token type, scanner, keywords, equals that. Okay, what is, I'm including the headers. Would I need to include that in here as well? For it's actually... Oh my god, dude. It was that issue? Okay. That's such a terrible issue. It was just that I forgot to include the header for unordered map into here. Oh my god, dude. Oh, what's going on here now? Okay, why is everything breaking? Include unordered map. Okay, we'll revisit that later. As of now, this should be fine, so. Okay. Alright, we figured that out. That's really dumb. But okay. Let's build out the rest of the map here. So, whatever keywords we have. Okay, so we have keywords float. I'm gonna do these ones first. So while let's do other ones too. So float, token type, float, oh, that's up there. Okay, so token type float. What else? We have int, float, void, and char. So let me add those. Int, I'm just gonna copy, to be honest. Void. And char. Okay, anything else? While for, else, we also need else as well. Else. Okay, that should encompass that. Print, I'm also gonna have print as a keyword here. Probably change it to printf later because in C it's printf, but it's fine. We'll make a new version, call it like C minus or C flat or something. Okay, print. Token type. Print. And I mean, I guess end of file token's not really a keyword. It's just like gonna be output if it reaches the end of the file. What other keywords do I want? I need to think about this right now before we move forward. What other keywords might I want to add right now? Do I want to make a functions? Do I want to handle functions right now? Yeah, I guess I do want to handle functions. So I guess let's make return one too. I think that'd be wise to have that. We need to first handle the basic language features. I think every basic language has functions, so let's have that in there. What else? I don't think I want any OOP. I don't think I want structs in here yet. I mean, yeah, I think that's fine. Is null an actual keyword in... No. No, no, no. So it's not. I mean, I guess I think that's fine. Just this set of keywords for now. Oh, didn't I see some reds in here earlier? I guess. I swear, dude. I saw some reds in here earlier, but now they're gone. That's very interesting. Okay. Okay. Okay, we handle the map now. So now we should actually... That took way longer than I thought, I'm not gonna lie. That issue with the not including to make the unordered map work, that ate up like at least 10-15 minutes of my life. Alright, let's see. Now we need to actually implement that in here. Implement the logic. So like I said, if it's a keyword, we return the token type for that keyword, else it's just gonna be the identifier. So if we're parsing through something like int x equals 3, this is fine, this will be keyword, identifier, and then the rest. But this will be keyword, keyword, which shouldn't be allowed, which in the backend that we implement later, it will complain an error, hopefully. It's already been an hour, really? Let me check. Oh yeah, it's been an hour and almost 30 minutes. An hour and 30 minutes almost. Yeah, wait. Oh my god. Dude, writing a compiler takes long. And this is like the easiest part of the compiler too. I'm definitely gonna have long strings later on. For backend, I can't assume that'd be easy. Okay, so yeah. Basically today last time we did the strings and everything, but today we did number, we're still currently handling identifiers and keywords. Yeah, so let's do it. This same process should be fine. It's just at the end to identify what we need. So it's gonna be the same as strings and ints or floats, anything. It's just gonna grab the source, the substring from the source. Okay, so let me do that. What am I doing? Okay, so it's just string. My brain is hurting. Not really, but it's a lot. Okay, so it's string. Same thing, right? What did I call it? Number literal, string literal. So I'll call this like, what should I call it? Identifier, keyword, something. I'm gonna call it text. So that will be the substring of source.substring of what values though? What values would it be? I guess it's the same as the integers, right? Because we're just setting value at current and then the start and then current and subtracting. So start, it should be the same. It's exact same way that we handle that. So start and current minus start. I hope my future self has actually a good compiler. If I could go into the future and see how the compiler looks, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. Okay, so that should work for that. And here's the difference now. I need to see how to access ordered map. Let's check. How do we access the ordered map? Right. It's the first value will take the key, and then the second will take the pair. Or not the pair, the key and the value. Key value pair, yeah. Okay. So we want our, let me see. So we want our, so our key is gonna be like the text. So our key is gonna be like if, well, we actually have it up here already. So the key is gonna be this, and the value is gonna be this. What we want to be stored as adding the token. So we want dot second, grabbing the value, and then, because how did we implement it? Adding the token, we took the token type and then the literal. So here we wanted to grab the second value and then the first value. So the value and then the key. Right. Let me just take a look real quick. Some more. So they're using auto I and they're using, okay, so they're going through the loop using auto I. I'm assuming that auto will just automatically find the type that you're working with because we're using unordered map here. But if we're not iterating, how do we just get the value itself? So that's inserting elements, accessing elements. So we have add one. No, we don't want the exact thing. Finding elements. This is what we need, a fast element search. I believe that's what he said to actually implement in here. We need to search. We need to find a quick search. So we're using that dot find, so we're finding the element with key 2. I think this would be more of what we need into the code. So we can find the keyword that we're looking for and implement that. So I guess auto word equals it's gonna be the map name, right? The map name dot find. So our map name is keywords dot find. And what exactly are we finding? I mean, I guess we're finding this. We're finding the text because the substring will grab that value. So we're finding the text. Right? And this is where we need to implement the if statement. So if order I haven't worked with maps that much. I think you guys can probably tell that I haven't worked with maps that much. So word. So I guess if it's a word, right? If it's a word. Or no, it can't be converted to a Boolean type, so we need to compare it to something. So what are we comparing it to though? What are we comparing it to? I'm not sure what we would compare it to, but the immediate code in here. If it is a keyword, we're gonna come in here and say, we need to grab the second value, right? So word, not word, well, I guess it is word, right? Yeah, word dot second, because that will be the value. Second. Can we do it like that? Yeah, that's gonna work. That basically just sets that value to that. And then else. Yeah, just if it's not that, then it'll just be token type how we did earlier. So identifier. Yeah. But what are we checking though? I think this calls for. I really can't think of anything here. What are we checking against? Maybe if statement, because we have to figure out what if it is a keyword or not. So what exactly are we checking in there? Keywords are defined, returns iterator, not a bool, so you check against the keywords.end. Keywords.end. Turns an iterator pointing to position beyond the last element in the container. Okay. Okay, so this just iterates through every element and checks if something is there that we're looking for. If not, then it will return false. Okay, so we're checking. Okay, this is like, honestly, I think this is my first time working with maps in like an actual code base. So we'll get better with maps as we go. And now we know how to work with maps properly. Okay, yeah, looks like it works though. It was a long process, but we did the best that we can, and we thought out everything that we could. So yeah, I guess that's the end of this function, right? It should technically be right. Oh wait, it's gonna be adding the token. Sorry, adding token of that and text. Right, yeah, text. Same thing here. Perfect, it works, perfect. I was hoping there wouldn't be any random errors. Perfect, that works. But yeah, that works. Okay, that was quite interesting, to be honest. I think we've covered everything I wanted to. There's still a couple more things I need to handle today. So we handled out these in the agenda. They're gone. 2 more things. Well, actually, let's put them back in the agenda because I don't want to make it look like I didn't do anything. All right, so these are done. We have these left. Error handling issue. I did run to an issue yesterday. And setting up the run function. Let's handle error handling. The problem is that struct is in here. Okay. What should I do? Should I put it in the Lexer file? Is that a common practice? The problem is I want to handle errors into here as well, but no programmer should ever include main.cpp. So I need to move that from main. It should not be in main. So, you know what? Let's just move it in there. You know what? It doesn't matter if it's a problem. Let's just have it in here. If we want to, we might move it to another file later. Okay, so struct is in here now. So now Lexer.cpp should see that. Only problem is now I have to include Lexer.h into main, which I don't really like doing. Dude, what's a good way to do this? Because if I include Lexer into main, that means all these would be accessible. Should I really make a new file and call it like errorhandling.h or something? Okay. Let's talk it out though. Let's talk it out. Usually when I get stuck on design choices, I just talk to Claude. Because Claude would know about some design choices. So my struct is in main, but my Lexer needs it. So I was thinking about moving it to Lexer.h, but then that would mean I need to include Lexer.h into main.cpp, which I generally don't. Is that fine? Or should I make a new file? Make a separate error.h file. Ah, yeah, you're right, okay. You're right. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking there. I guess that's a better thing to do. Hey, at least I questioned it though. I didn't just directly put it in there. Okay, error.h. And let's move that into here. CMake is fine, right? CMake build. Yeah, CMake build is fine there. Okay. Okay, now in here, error.h. Now we can move it on over, and then I should have no qualms about it. Stream. Oh, what did I do? Struct. Where did the struct keyword go? Okay, everything's fine in here, right? Nothing broke. Yeah, I don't know where the struct keyword went, but yeah, so now here's the thing. So we have to include error.h in here. Now, realistically, it's fine. Oh yeah, we need to actually include the path itself. Okay, so how exactly do we do that? Like shared slash include slash shared slash. Okay, still can see it. Or just shared dot error. Okay. Okay. So it's just the file before it. Okay. Alright. Alright, now should work. Same thing in here. I wanted to change some things in here to actually have errors. And how did everything in here break? Literally, how did that happen? Incomplete type scanner. Wait, I'm so confused. How did everything break? Really are having a lot of technical difficulties this stream, not gonna lie. I think this, out of all the streams I've done so far, out of the 30, maybe 25 streams I've done, that like this has to be the worst display that I've ever had. Well, at least to the end, towards the end. At the beginning I was doing fine. But what is going on though? How does this happen? Error, run, the run function's fine. Okay, I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm just gonna ask Claude. I mean, does Claude need like everything to actually stream to actually know what's going on? And what would have happened though? Like in here, I guess maybe it broke is okay. I think yeah, but okay. Is that the fix? Okay, that was the fix. Okay. Okay. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Oh, a couple of bugs. I didn't. Let's see. Where is alphanumeric? Oh, we didn't return anything at all. Good catch on that. Okay. What else? Oh, so alpha has a range bug, really? Oh, wait, let's look at the range again. Wait, so A through Z. Oh my god, dude. There's a couple of characters in between, so okay. Holy, dude. Couple of mistakes here that we're making. Okay, yeah. It should be in alpha itself, right? So it should go separately from A through capital Z. So we need it to be as alpha C. No, not there. Z. And well, not and, or, right? It should be or. Or should be that, right? So lowercase a all the way down to lowercase c. Yeah. I mean, not gonna lie, if that's the only bugs that we have throughout this entire file, I'd say I'm pretty proud of that. If those are the only two problems, then yeah, okay, that's also a mistake. But yeah, these are the only problems. I'm pretty proud of it, not gonna lie. Because these are like just simple stuff. The main logic goes behind everything else. So if I got all the other logic right, I'm pretty happy about that. So I'll take it. I will take it. Yeah. Now let's actually fix the error problem. Let's implement errors properly. So where do I want to implement errors here? So I do, okay, here. I wanted to make it error handling, or what did I call it? Error handling. So let's call that struct in here too. And calling that function error handling.error. What is the parameters again? Let me go back. What is the parameters? Error line. So it's gonna be the line number and then the message itself. Okay. So error, okay, so line number, so line is just line, right? And for this one, it's just gonna be like unexpected character token. Or just unexpected character. Yeah. Where else do I want to call that? Where else? anywhere where I put a std_ser, because I put the std_ser as a placeholder. So here, so error handling dot error, and let's say line number and unterminated string. Yeah, so that's good. Any other areas that I have std_ser on? I don't believe I do. Yeah, so that's good. Those are the only two cases I want to add error handling. Actually, let me also add error handling here too. So if it doesn't cover either of these, we'll call error handling here too. Number message should be, what should the message be? I guess like unexpected. Well, we already have it up here, I guess, but we also, if it falls into this loop, we also want, right, so yeah, we can do the same one, unexpected character. But we don't need a break since it's not a switch case. Okay, I think that encompasses what I wanted. Yeah, error handling seems to be done. We have one more item on the agenda, and I think with this final thing, we actually finished the Lexer. And I sure hope when I test it out later that it works, or else we're gonna have to do another stream on debugging. Or I might just debug by myself, but yeah, let's do the run function. This is the run function inside main.cpp that we have here to actually run, to actually take a source file and implement it in. Yeah, so, okay, let's see what we need, right? So, it's gonna take a source, right? Is run gonna be... Run? I guess, yeah, run should be in main, right? Run should be in main, I believe. I mean, we did have our run function in for our interpreter, for the risc-v CPU interpreter in here. Let's just write it. If we need to change the position, we can. That's not really a problem, so we need to declare it the same way. So it's gonna be like this. So what do we need? So we need our source. Our source is gonna be basically the scanner that we set. Basically the entire class of it. So, and we need the source is gonna be like the individual tokens, I mean. Like for example, a source would be like an entire code file or something. So we want to initialize the class scanner as the source value. So we're taking in everything for that. Then we want to set up the vector to actually set up the tokens. So I guess tokens, and then token. Kind of like how we had up here. Or where was it? Yeah, stitch vector tokens, yeah. Something like that. So this will be taking our tokens now. And we want that to equal the whole source, the scanner dot. And we want it to, basically just our function here. So scan tokens needs to be called each time. So scan tokens. And that will handle everything from there. And I guess for now, we just want to print the token. So we can probably do like for loop and print each token out. So for const, it's going to be a lot of types. So I'm just going to say auto reference, and probably it's like tokens. And then we want to like iterate through each token. So we want to print out each token, so token dot to string. What is the header for that we need? What is the header that we need for that? It's just include strings, so it should cover it, right? Wait, can we do it like that? Wait. Okay, like kind of like this. String. Oh wait, what am I doing? Std to string. Wait, why is it not? So I guess it's not a thing, or are we just not allowed to have that in here, like alongside sits here? I guess we need to store it in a variable separately, right? I guess. So how do they store that? Just in a std string. So std string to string token. Okay. And the name, yeah. And that should work. Okay, there we go. But it's still not, so I don't know, to be honest, how to get that exactly to a string, so... yeah, we're gonna have to just cloud this. Only works on numeric types. Okay, that's the reason why it's not working. So we need to implement something new. Or yeah, I'm not gonna bother with that. Let's just do it his way. You should write some comments. I will, probably, soon. So I guess token.line and token.lexer. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, I'll probably add some comments about what each function does. To be honest, I'm not really typed to add comments. I don't know like how to write a proper comments so it's not like very generic. I don't know. I don't know how to. I probably have to like look up examples of like how to write a good comment that's actually well documenting. Usually I just write code. Like I think I probably have to go back for my CPU emulator and write comments all over because it's not a mess, but it's just a lot. And someone new looking at it might be confused. Someone who hasn't like tinkered with computer architecture concepts might be a bit confused. So I mean, like, it should be good. I think so. Yeah, I know. I just added semicolon. Let's see if it even runs. Let's see if it even runs at all. Oh, not the emulator. Not the emulator. I'm gonna clear it. The compiler. On reference parameter. Is digit not found? Let's look at some of these errors here. Is digit. Okay. That's probably because they only have statics. They're static, so they only have. I'm pretty sure static is just. What is that scope called? It's just for the file. It doesn't have external linkage. Right, so I guess it's trying to compile. It's trying to compile it, but it's not allowing it to. What if we just make them bools, to be honest? Just remove the static for now. We'll figure out the static part later. Let's see what happens now. Oh, it's just not found at all. Okay. It's only for is digit, is alpha. So what happened with those? I'm not the best at debugging. I'm pretty sure you all can tell that I'm not the best at debugging, to be honest. That's a skill I need to get better at, to be honest. I also need to stop saying "to be honest" a lot. Yeah, I need to get better at debugging. I've only really debugged with AI, so like I'm not really that good at debugging. Which is probably a problem, probably a flaw that I have. Like, I can read the code and understand from other people's code, but I can't debug that well. For Python, I just got better at it over time. Yeah, the main problem was the CPU emulator. I never debugged myself. I'd write the code and then give it to Claude, and Claude would tell me if I had errors or not, and I'd check with the output and stuff to make sure that's good and stuff, but I wouldn't actually debug myself. And I kind of knew that it was a problem after I finished the emulator project. I don't really know exactly what's wrong here. Okay, so Lexer at line 94. Oh, at line 94, it's unable to tell what is digit is. That's why, because, okay, I debugged it myself. It's because it's down here. I need them to be up here. Same with these. They need to be up there. Now it should be fine. Okay, let's see what other errors are coming. Yeah, this is the other error that came. Error handling on reference parameter at lecture.cpp on line 187. Let's see. Line 187. Error handling on reference parameter. Unreferenced parameter. I guess it's this parameter that's having difficulty. Oh, you mean like forward declaring them is at the top instead of moving them? Yeah, but it's best practice to have static functions, static variables, anything like that at the top. I'm sure there's a reason why. I just haven't gotten into that direct reason. As you still know, I'm still working on learning the ins and outs of C++. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I'm decent enough to get by, to make projects like this. Decent enough to get. I'm not even... I probably have a lot of problems that I have to work on. So, yeah. Unreferenced parameter. Honestly, I don't know what, like, if I remove the reference for that, will that be... Okay, it's already, okay. Struct error handling. Error handling already defined in main.cp.object file. The struct's already declared there. What's your main goal for C++? I mean, just to get good enough to get a job with it. Hopefully my goal job is to be a compiler engineer. That's why I started working on this stuff. But I wouldn't mind working in other stuff too, like if someone throws like an embedded systems job or something, or even just a generic software engineering position for C++, that's fine with me. Hopefully by this summer, I'm gonna study a lot for C++ and actually get that going good. Okay, I really don't know what the errors for those would be, to be honest. Oh, you want to get an AI job? Like a AI engineer, or like using Python and doing research for different AI constructs and stuff like that? Yeah, that's a pretty interesting path too. I just felt like everyone was rushing towards that path, so I was like, yeah, let me take a step back and go to a place with less competition, because I know that the only reason it's less competition here is because it's harder. So, but I'm willing to put in that work to get that. Yeah, I know I declared him twice, but how do I? Have both of those structs? I mean, the only way to really learn is to just encounter stuff like this and just know what to do. So yeah, I guess within a year, as I keep building projects and as I keep working on stuff, I'll eventually get good at debugging too by myself. Hopefully. How do I have both of those structs? Both files. I guess it's a reference, right? Maybe a reference to those structs, I guess. Or I guess I don't need it, right? Do I need it in this file? So, do I? Okay, so if I remove this, errors are gonna come, so. Extern, yeah, I forgot about extern. Okay, so that makes it have external linkage. So extern, and then yeah. So I guess, yeah, that's good. Well, it's not really a shared global though. So I have it in error.h destruct finish. Destruct itself, I define it in Lexer.cpp as handling, error handling, but I also use its name. Okay, defining the struct. Creates one instance error handling. Error handling receives that parameter, never defines on its own. Okay. Let me see. So we declare it in here in that CPP file, but how long have we been streaming? It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. I just want to get this run loop done, because this will be like the end of the Lexer, kind of. If it all goes well, it'll be the end of the Lexer. Okay, so what he means is by adding a private member in here, calling that error handling, and passing a reference to that so we're not copying it. Just like that, I guess, but like it's just like, how do we get the error? Okay. I guess we want to include hashtag include error.h. Not that. share.h. Scanner, okay. And then add that in here as well, I guess. So we want that to also be in the constructor itself. That's quite the confusing thing, not gonna lie. So then we have source here, we have error. Yeah, I'm gonna give it all my files and see. I'm gonna give it all the files and see. Maybe it can pinpoint something I should probably do better. And I'm gonna okay, we forgot to do pragma ones here for the guard. What else? Forgot that string include as well. What else did we miss? Lexer.h. Oh, is that the reason why it was not? That's the reason why it wasn't working. Yeah, constructor, I missed it. So we don't want this global here anymore. Place it here, error. Yeah. So now each one needs to be accessed like that. So let me go here. I probably could have just replaced it with the replace all thing. It's fine, whatever. It's only 3 instances anyways. And also this one. Yeah, so that should be good. What else? Fix if we want to take my reference. Oh, did I not already have it referenced? Oh, I forgot I removed that earlier. And this should take, no, it should take source. But, oh yeah, now we need to have it be error. So now it should work. And then we need to change h1 here. Yeah. Well, I guess it's better to call it air handler. That probably be the better one. So we can distinguish properly, yeah. And then implement that properly in every place. Okay, let me do a replace here. So air handling match whole word. Or not whole word, match case, so it matches only the cases. And so I think that's how you do the replace properly, right? And then replace it with air handler, right? Yeah, so now that should, yeah. Also into malware analysis. I might be taking a course at some point on malware analysis. There's a class in my college that seems interesting to take. It's part of my roadmap, so for the college courses. But that seems really difficult to do malware analysis. I did like a basic cybersecurity class, like just this semester. That didn't go into malware analysis or anything, so but that's pretty interesting. I think there was a roadmap. Let me check. Let me check for you real quick. Roadmap. GitHub, was there? I think malware was listed in here somewhere. This roadmap here, I believe. Yeah, they did have. Yeah, they had malware analysis. You can look at this GitHub here, systems program roadmap, and they have a whole roadmap just for malware analysis itself, like the tools that you can use. I remember seeing that here. It's quite interesting. It's really fun. You never got burnt out. That's interesting. That's nice. That's nice. I feel like I would get burnt out having to look at the terminal. I don't know if it's like terminal work, but if it is terminal work, I feel like I'd get burnt out looking at the terminal all day. Okay. Alright, what else, Claude? What else? Okay, does it link cleanly or not? Let's see. Oh, okay, nice. It actually does work now. Okay, let's just test out some things. If I say like int x equals 3, no, that's not what I want. Wait, what exactly do I need to pass in a file or what? Should I pass in a file? I probably should pass in a file, right? What should we make, like... maybe like a .txt file or something? Just to see if it works. So, this is like int x equals 3. And I have like what other cases should I cover? Or maybe I'll just have Claude give me like test txt file. Stop on these cases now. So I'll put in here. Let's just, or I'll just make a document in here. I'll just put it in here. And let's just call it like test. Oh, test is already, okay. Test file. Alright, there we go. Alright, so it's test file.txt in the documents folder. So we start the file, so argument count. So let me see exactly how we were gonna run that exactly. Setting up main, so okay, let me give it a try. Okay, so I have like C. How to access that? Just 1 second. Let me grab that file real quick. I just want to make sure I don't leak anything properly. Let me grab that file. That file like path. Where is that file? There it is. Let me copy the file path. Copy this path. Okay. So we say like that. Oh, we don't want this extra thing here. Is that also no, it's an int, so I feel like I'm doing something wrong. So how exactly am I gonna test this? Because I know this is the argument count and the argument array, right? So I know in my notes I wrote something like this. You'd have some file, you test that thing, and then might be missing something. Wire up may not be actually called run with the file path. Did I do that properly? Calls from file. .txt or handler. I guess I need to actually make that part actually properly. I guess I need to actually include that in properly. Yeah, no, so I already had it. Okay, no, I had it correct. Brings out a terminal with character. That only happens when it's a REPL handling though. like, this should only be for the REPL though. So maybe something's going wrong before that happens. Because if our argument count is 2, it'll run a file, or also run a REPL. So it's running a REPL. I don't want it to run a REPL though, so I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, no file argument is passed. It was running the REPL. Okay, this is my first time doing this thing, so I'm probably just gonna follow Claude. I don't understand what's going on here to get this path properly. I guess I probably should move that path on over. Give me a second. Once I get this all sorted out, I'm gonna test it and then probably end the stream. I just don't want to end the stream before I test this out and make sure it's good. If not, we have some debugging to do tomorrow, but we'll see. Let me move this test file over. So where should it sit? So what's up, KZ Mans? How you doing, bro? I'm just gonna put it in here, I guess. Let me get the file. Let me get the file. Let me get the file. How are you doing, KZ Mans? Just hopefully finish the Lexer right now. We're about to test the Lexer and see if it actually works. I'm trying to get it set up. First time handling this file output stuff, so just trying to see properly how to do it. Doing pretty good, doing pretty good. Okay, alright, let's try that. Let's open a command prompt. Let me make sure everything is fine. So we'll be running a text file. How do you stay consistent and motivated every day? I don't really stay motivated every day. It's just you kind of have to like be interested in what you're doing. I will say there's some days where I just don't want to do anything. Like if I'm really struggling at something, I'll just be like, yeah, I don't want to do this. But I guess you kind of get more interested in it as you see more progress. So you want to make sure you have like a roadmap where you actually see progress. If you're constantly frustrated all the time, then you're probably gonna start hating it. I've been working on my own personal project, but I'm not consistent and it's kind of stalled for now. Yeah, you just gotta find your separate time where you can do the project. This is the time where I do my project on stream. I know I'll be most productive on stream. I won't be like switching tabs and watching YouTube videos in the middle of it. I know on stream I'll be actually working on it properly and not cutting corners or doing anything weird. So that's what I set myself to do for the emulator, and now it's kind of a habit to do projects on stream. You don't have to do that, but you need to find something that forces you to work for a couple hours. And once you get in that flow, you'll get consistent enough to do that. So let me make sure all these files are good. And let's handle that. So let's copy. Okay, let's copy this. And we want to do guess we want to do these together, I guess? I'm not sure. Could not open file. So there's a problem with the file. There's a problem with the file, so the file wasn't able to open to even start, dude. Is it in the right thing? I think they gave me the... Wait. That's the right path, right? Project physical toolchain, upload, x64 debug, and then that's a compiler.exe. Oh, it's the wrong path. That's fine. Okay. Okay, finally, let's see if our thing actually did it right. Okay, so these are our... Let's see what's even going on. Let's see what's even going on here. That's why I have two interests and move between them when I get bored. Yeah, that's a good idea to have multiple interests to do in a day. What do you use software? What do you mean, what do I use software? Like the IDE I'm on, or what? What are you talking about? UG carpets. You just have too many distractions. Yeah, that's real. There's too many distractions. Especially in this day and age. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Line 1. So, okay, let me open this. Let me open the file here too. Let me go to the project and open this file. Okay, so line 1, there's already an error. Unexpected character. Every line is unexpected. So let's see what's going on. So this is gonna be the output, right? So what is going on? Let's just match. So int x equals 5. Okay, so this is the line itself. But what did I want? Okay, I don't necessarily want the Lex. I want the Lexer, but I also want the identifier as well. Let's add another one here. Let's call it token dot. We're gonna access the. What is the thing called? Where is it? Where is it? Literal value. Or no, the token type. The token type. Token dot type. Let's recompile. Let me go back up. I know there's definitely something wrong with all these errors here, but yeah, let's just see. Did it not recompile it properly? Still did the same thing. But I think it's working in the fact that it's separating out the tokens as expected. Like, as you can see here, it identifies that this is one token, this is one token. So I think it's working, but something I need to just check. Been wanting to read this book, but I'm really inconsistent. Yeah, you just gotta find the time. I think the best time to read is like before going to sleep. Like maybe like an hour before going to sleep, you can just kind of like wrap up everything in the day and just kind of just read until you fall asleep. I think that's probably the best way to go about reading, I guess. If you really want to read like a book, like if it's like a fiction book, you just read right before bed. That's the best that I've been able to read. the best time. Any other time, I just can't. Unless it's like a software book. If it's like a fiction book, I have to read it before sleeping. Okay, you should probably sleep. It's late. Yeah, it's pretty late, but I just want to get this done. It's working. It's working. My Lexer is working. It's just something is going wrong here. Let me close this. Okay, so let me just save all these. So we're running tokens, give a token, running it. So let me run another command prompt here. Test file. It's not printing out as I expect. Token type, maybe something's wrong here. Token type. It should be grabbing the token type because of std vector. Let me look at std vector again. Std vector for tokens. Let me see the declaration of std vector and tokens. Yeah, no, it should be. It's taking token, so it should be allowed to take the type. I just don't know why it's not taking the type. It's kind of interesting. I usually do it in the morning before I have distractions. Yeah, that's also a good time, because that's when your brain is completely like decluttered and your brain's just fresh. You haven't hit it with any crazy amount of dopamine from reels or anything else that you have. Why is it I mean, it's right though. It's right. I just don't know why it's not printing out properly. I'd say we have kind of a success. I don't know why it's a lot of these errors though. Error at let's look at the file. Line 1, there's already so many errors. Wait, so int x equals 5. So let's see how it did that. So int, it split it up into int x equals 5. It looks like it split it up correctly, but why is it generating errors? Is it just generating errors just because? Yeah, doom scrolling on Instagram probably. It's probably the worst for me. But I hate it so much because people are so terrible on Instagram. Like the comments, like it could be any video, it could be like the most wholesome video ever, and someone's just rage baiting in the comments, and that makes you riled up too. It's like I gotta get off of that. YouTube Shorts, I used to do YouTube Shorts, but yeah, Instagram is just terrible. At least YouTube Shorts is a bit more sophisticated. It's like you know it's bad for you, but you just keep doing it. You just catch yourself on Instagram back again. But usually when I catch myself, I close it. But it's just like your hand moves autonomously, and the next thing you know, you're on Instagram, and you're like, what am I doing here? But yeah, okay, let's see what's going on. So that's a lot of errors, bro. So int x equals 5. Looks like it's separating the tokens fine. But why in the world is it? Because let's look at the file, right? We have int, right? So it's catching identifier. So it shouldn't even be parsing error. So what? False positives, but I don't know why they're even generating. Because the only way they are generating is if I have it like this. Error at, like, yeah, if I call this, right? I'd say it's worse than calculation. I don't know about that, but yeah. It at least doesn't cause all the withdrawals. Okay, it's working fine, but I'm gonna see what the problem is. Why is it generating all these errors? It shouldn't be, right? Because it should just be skipping that entirely. Okay, let's just figure this out quick before so I can sleep, so I can go to sleep. I mean, to be honest, my sleep schedule is bad. Really bad. Like probably like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. It works mostly as expected. Can't figure out why. A huge amount of errors is there beforehand. This seems to have effects done properly. There must be somewhere in the code where I accidentally put error for each one, and it's like triggering each time. But let's see. A structural bug in scan token. Look at how it's written. Let's see. What mistake did I make in here? Unconditionally. Oh. That's such a bad. Okay. I see what he means. I see what he means. So it runs this block, and then no matter what, it runs this block. So it doesn't hit these and hits these for every single one. Ah, okay. I see. Right. Digit and alpha check should only run in the default case. Yeah, okay. I think, yeah, we should move it into the default case in here. So if none of the cases above, it'll hit the default case, and then we have this. Let's recompile and see. Let's recompile and see. Yes, the default case. Am I missing anything else? Oh, wait. Int z equals x plus y. Z is missing. Did I not put z? Shit. Go up here. If c is greater than a, and c is less than c. Oh. It should be including. Okay. What else? Any other things? Z is missing. Yeah, Z is missing. They'll be excluded. Yeah, we can't have them excluded. We need to be equal to. 3.14 is printing 3 and 1.4 separately. The float path in number never called advance. Let me take a look at float. What is it? Float path never calls advance to consume. Oh my god. We need another advance here. We never consumed the decimal. So this would consume any number before the decimal, this would consume the decimal, and this will consume any number after the decimal. Yeah, just a silly mistake on my part. Okay, if that's it, we will redo it. And I hope this time we can see our compiler actually work. Well, not our compiler, our Lexer. Let me copy into the path and then test. Well, it still seems like something is going on. Something is still not right. Is that maybe like... Okay. Is there like any special protocol I have to do to recompile that? So maybe I should compile it first. Then hit test path. Let's give it one more. Let's give it one more try on that part. I just recompiled the whole file itself, so maybe now we can actually get that working. I mean, it should be compiling it there too, right? Oh yeah, test path, test file, not test path, test file. Okay, it seems to be working. Seems to be working. What happened though? Int 25, what does that mean? What? Float Y. Why is it attaching? Is that because of the token type? Token type. I didn't expect this process to be like this. I know it's working. So realistically, I can just end the stream right now, but I do want to see that beautiful output of it actually being correct. I know it's working, I just need to get the right output properly. I assume it's not taken properly. We need a space here between that, and then we need to access the enum properly, but how I thought that's how we would access it. The token type like that. But I'm not exactly sure. Underlying integer value. You need a helper function that it converts into a readable string. Oh my god. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna write out all this, so low-key, it's not a bad thing to copy and paste this one part. Because realistically, I'm not gonna write all this out. It's just so redundant. I don't want to write all this out. So realistically, I think it's justified for me to copy and paste this. When will you be live tomorrow so I'm not late? I usually go live like around 10:30 p.m. EST. I could go earlier. I'm trying to figure out like a good schedule. I just usually do it around 10:30 p.m., 11 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. But I could do it earlier. I just need to find a good time. But this is like the best time for me to do it. But I don't know. Yeah. So we'll add it. Yeah, we'll add it in here right after the token. I mean, this is the exact same thing. I totally forgot. This is the exact same thing I did in my decoder. Was it in the CPP? Yeah. In my decoder, I had to actually say what to return properly. Okay, realistically, it should work now. Realistically, it should work. Let's go back. Where's the file? Or do I need to open a new path? Still doing that numbers, but let's see. What is the okay, yeah, we need, oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, token type. Alright, we're at the final stretch here. Does it? Okay, does it need to be in the? Token type 2 string. How exactly did I do it in my decoder? I just did, it should be use instruction. So we had the function instruction 2 string, and I believe I did it in my main file here. Just instruction 2 string inst.name. Yeah, okay, so yeah. To access those specifics. I guess the token itself needs to be in here. But I don't know. This is quite confusing to me, to be honest, about that part. Okay, okay, token.type in here. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. I need to get better. I need to get better with these things. When it comes to this stuff, I need to get better with this stuff. I'm decent at logic writing, but when it comes to like these very like little things, I'm so bad at it. Okay, okay, this theoretically should give us the right build. Okay, thank God. Thank God. Okay, we finally got it. Okay. It looks like it is working. It is able to correctly lex through our entire file. So we have int x. It is able to correctly identify that that's an integer keyword, the identifier, =, then the number, and then semicolon. So it's actually correctly separating all of these properly, looks like. We do have a couple of errors. Line 2 there is, line 2 would be this line. So what did not get included? Identifier equal number. Okay, it's a dot. It's a dot. It's still not correctly doing decimals. We'll figure that out another day. I think the stream has been long enough, and I think we've made considerable progress. So yeah, I'll stream tomorrow. I have to read about parsers though. The next part of the compiler is the parser, so I have to read about that. So maybe I might be streaming tomorrow, or maybe it might be 2 days from now. We'll see. So yeah, successful stream. We ran into a lot of problems this stream, but that's okay. We'll get better at that over time. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.